So I'd just like to welcome everybody today. Thank you for joining. We hope it's going to be informative. We hope it's going to be very interactive. We want everybody to interact with us. I'm just going to share a bit of an agenda with you, and then we'll follow through with our first lady who's going to speak for us. That's Michelle Lekay. Okay, so basically we're just doing a short intro, and then Michelle will come on and give us her 411 on RISE, what she's done, how she's used it, her 043, and what her take is, her personal feedback. She's an esteemed bursar, and she's been using the system for quite some time. Then we'll go and have Anna just do a brief walkthrough of some changes, some updates on the system itself, and then we'll have Cynthia do. Cynthia is one of our trainers. She'll just do a brief talk about onboarding, how the process works, what you can expect, and obviously frequently asked questions. Now, we want you guys to be as interactive as possible. Like I said, please drop us messages in the chat, ask us questions. We'll get to all of it at the end, and then we'll have a sort of nice, chat. Obviously, if you want a meeting thereafter, drop us your details. Let us have a one-on-one. We're very open to it. We're gonna have Anna just after Cynthia, just sharing some information about a very exciting event that we're having. But I'll leave that to her, a little bit of suspense. And then obviously, please stay till the end. We've got lots to tell you. We hope it's informative and there's something very exciting at the end. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I'd like to pass over to Michelle now.
Thank you for the opportunity. I hope everybody's well. So yeah, do I put off my candle while I'm presenting and talking through?
You're more than welcome to leave it on. We like to see your face. You've got quite a good personality, so let us see, your excitement for the system and all those details. Really happy to see it.
Of course. I just want to confirm whether my voice is clear.
Yes, we can hear you well.
Okay, thank you so much. So yeah, I'd just like to thank RISE again, for the opportunity. So basically our journey started with RISE in 2019, where October 2019 we onboarded. And onboarding means where all the information and data is extracted from the current financial admin system and then provided to RISE. Obviously with the necessary authorization, and then we are onboarded onto the RISE school management system. So it was an exciting 2 months because after we met in August of 2019, we had various role players present, like our data administrator that works with the admissions, that works with the school communicator. We had educators and we had SMT present, and everybody had various questions because we were trying to formulate and confirm whether RISE would be able to meet all our needs, as a school. And we're still on that journey because, we live in an ever-changing country, needs are always changing, and then we have the development to align us as such. So we went live on the 1st of January. And when I say 1 January, we were still on school holiday, but all the information was live on the RISE system. When we returned to school, we were then able to, with all the live information on the system, we were able to do our annual batch invoicing. That means invoicing from pre-primary grade R fees. That means fees from school fees ranging from grade 1 to 7, as well as all aftercare school fees. And that was done in a very simplified manner because it wasn't necessary opposed to the old system where we had to do class per class or grade per grade. We could actually do a bulk and batch invoicing, so it really simplified the process. With our first year, we were guided and we assisted by RISE to help us import our budget. And from there, I was able to every year consecutively import it by myself, after the guidance. So yes, onboarding, there's always teething issues, but it went, in my opinion, we had quite an experience, and at the end of the day, everything is simply easier. So that's for onboarding from my side. I would then like to share the O43 form and the report on that. So do I share my screen from there?
Yes, sure. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So we're onto the homepage of the RISE School Management System, and I'm going to speak about the 043 form report. So the 043 form report, under the quick menu, you have all these functionality tabs, and the 043 is found under school. So when you go to school, right on your right-hand side, you have second option as your 043 report. And when you click into that, you can choose your semester or your quarter, the first semester of 2023. And on the screen, you say run report. So this, for me as a bursar, is a very, very complicated method in the past that has now been simplified, because I think, and I know all bursars, this is a very intense report that took a lot of time, and it's really been simplified, and we are always grateful for this. So on the semester report, you can check that you have the correct date. So this is the date that has ended, that we reported on now, and that was due on the 31st of July. It already has the Western Cape Government emblem on there. You can check that the period is correct. So it's Jan to June, and your quintile of your school will already be pre-filled, as well as your district and your school name. So on the report, you have it's split into income and expenditure, as well as other income, and your expenses is right down at the bottom. You also have a very important column, which is your actual to date, and which is your budget column. Further on, as a heading, you have a column called difference and variance, and this guides you quite appropriately as to how much time and the amount that you have to actually get to the actual goal that you've set for toward a certain budget. So when you go down in the budget column, you'll find that this is the income and expenses, and it has a certain amount. Total income budgeted for 2023 is that amount, and that always needs to equate the amount of the expenses, which is exactly the same, and you should have no difference. If there is a difference, which we had in year one, we had an accountant official at RISE that would sit with us and link our 043 entries correctly, because there was a linkage issue and we were able to balance it out. So we were ever grateful for that. So on the RISE 043 form, you have your income section, which is made up of net school fees, any WCED transfer of payments, as well as your grade R subsidy that gets received. Other income is all made up of fundraising, you have rental income, etc. And they all have their own columns and own description. So right here we can see that the budget of the school fees for 2023 is 17 million. We've to date, or as at the end of June, collected 8.1 million, and we are due to still collect another 9 million, and that is, the percentage that we are at. So this net school fees here is linked to the live bank stream, and I'll show you in a bit. As soon as we match and approve a transaction of school fees that has been made, the actual school fees amount will go up, as well as the difference to be collected will decrease. So everything is live on the system. WCED payments, with the help of onboarding, everybody's 043 descriptions might differ because it's to the need, tailor-made for your school. There's no prescript that says it has to read in a certain way, but with the help of RISE, they actually help you to formulate these accounts and then import it as such. So all of this starts with in your chart of accounts where these account numbers are built. So when we go down to expenses, under expenses, you'll find your LTSM and local purchases. You have stationery, cleaning material, municipal services, as well as your grade R expenses. So, furthermore, the biggest expense in any company is always personnel expenditure, and they will also help with splitting these accounts because we've got SGP educators, we've got non-educators, then we've got relief staff for any staff that is absent and we need to get someone in to stand in, and then additional remuneration, which is also split between WCED staff and SGP staff. And then it comes down to this line, and now we can see as at the end of June, the school's net position, which has a net income of that amount. Furthermore, on the bottom of the 043 form, the bank reconciliation amount filters through, and balances of investment, everything filters through, and you also have your chairperson and your treasurer's details that you can then type in and have them sign the document. So that is on the 043 form, but there's still a lot of functionality on the report as such. If I can just mention, if you need to know what happens in a certain account that is on this report, you can simply you click into it. So I've just right click onto it, and this is now an account called LTSM, and I want to know what this, how much entries and which entries this LTSM budget is made of. I will select my period, which is 1 Jan to 1 July, and I will say run report. And after I've clicked on run report, it will give me all the receipts toward or in respect of LTSM that has been made. So here is the amount that was approved for the LTSM, and this is all the receipts against the LTSM. If I need more detailed information and I want to know what the 7,456.56 cents is for, I can simply double click into the payment receipt, and it will give me exact details. Then I can see the supplier that we've used is Art and Office to make this payment. I can see that the budget account that was used or that this funds was allocated from is the art budget. And then I'm already happy with that because I know both the supplier and the budget account number is correct. I can see that we've made an EFT, which is payment methods that RISE builds into the system. Because if you say show all, it would simply give you all the payment methods: cash, check, debit card, debit order, PayPal, or salary payment. When I go to general journal, it will also give me the actual background transaction recording that has taken place. for this specific transaction. And then I go to transaction reconciliation. Okay, that tab is empty now, but there's so much information on one transaction that you can drill down into. And that was simply taking one payment under the expenses on the 043 and drilling down as to what it is. Because when we get district financial evaluations, the SFRO, the school finance and record officer, would maybe want to know what these amounts are made of. And when you're sitting with your laptop and you don't have paperwork, it's really very streamlined. You can click in there and you can present all those payment receipts with all the information required to the SFRO. So that is just a bit of information on the functionality. Usually, I don't have that scenario now, but usually when there is an account or payment receipt that is not linked, that has to be made up of, let's say, perhaps a school fee payment, you'll have this block here that says check accounts, and it will be highlighted in red, basically telling you that there is an account that needs to be checked. And when you click in that block called check accounts and you say run reports, I don't have any accounts to check now, but they will usually be listed here, and you can click into it to link it so that it then links in with the 043 document. So there's a lot of I shall say, warnings or alerts that the guys would give you to ensure that everything is linked for the correct purpose. So, and I think that is it on the 043. Do I proceed to the bank stream?
Yes, sure. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. So I would close there. Otherwise, you would have everything minimized there. So I would just close all of that. Okay, so the live bank stream is such an important screen because this is each and every transaction that takes place that gets imported for us. So currently at the moment, we only have transactions on the bank stream from the 15th, which was Tuesday, up to the 17th, because we try and keep it up to date almost on a daily basis. But just to start on the bank stream, this is your live bank statement. So this account here is the GL bank account that has been set up by RISE, that's also imported or was exported from our previous accounting system. You would have your bank balance and you would have your ledger balance. So this is also a way of checking that you are balancing, because after all these transactions here has been matched and approved, these two balances will be exactly the same. Last connected on the 17th of August, that is today. So I see the time is a bit ahead, but we've never had issues with that. So on the live bank stream, the first transaction, we can see that today there was a cardless cash deposit made at a branch for the amount of 1160. I'm just making it a bit bigger because this would be the complete description on the bank statement. So now we can see we as Bursars, we all struggle with this, parents that don't use sufficient reference for us to allocate. So now RISE has simply X'd these numbers out for security purposes. So when I draw the bank statement, I will be able to see that here's a contact number. We will contact the parent, to ask who the payment is for them to send us the proof so that we can allocate the payment. So here is a more clearer deposit or EFT. So on the 15th, we received an EFT for this learner for the amount of 2,200. So I would just like to show you how we would match this payment. So That is the name. It says Rajib Ranyan Gema. So, sorry, my columns is just a bit condensed. So on the dies you have, when you match your payment, you have three options: new, split, or match. So I'm now going to allocate this 2,200 against the school fees of this learner. So I would go to match. Okay. So now I will type in cheap. Okay, I'm getting nothing there. I will type in demo. So most of the parents, they would use their names and surnames. Also, a lot of our learners has English name as well as isiXhosa names. This is the only Ngema in the school, so I'm just going to use this as an example now. So I would click on Hazel. Okay, and now I can see that Hazel Ngema has available to match 12,290, which is our outstanding balance. When I move down further, you can see that the invoice for the year is 14,630, and we've still got available or outstanding of the balance 12,2290. I would click right there. Sorry, my screen is sharing. Just trying to get there. So 2,200 is the amount. I would say match. Immediately the bank stream changes and now it will show 2,200. The tax invoice, there is the name in the customer column. So as the Bursar, that payment has now been linked. I will now go and approve the payment right there. So I'm not going to approve it as yet because when I go to budget plan versus actual, I want to show all of you how that 2,200 after allocation increases the balance of school fees collected for the current period. So on the bank stream, you have those three payment methods, which I've mentioned now. RISE has also got the column of category. You have the customer column. I just want to make this smaller and then I can, yeah, so you have the category account code. So the customer is all school fees received. Category account code is when you have a budget account number, which has also been imported onto the system by the chart of accounts. For example, our school made 3 cash withdrawals to that amount of 8,000 because it's for a specific reason. Let's say that it is for athletics. We can actually type in athletics, match it against that category, and where it says notes, we can say upcoming inter-schools or a rugby evening. So this year is for all your chart of accounts, your general ledger accounts. This category here is for all your school fee payments, whether your learners has a family code or a specific unique numeric code. RISE will obviously help with that setup. This is the 3 methods I've explained. You either match the payment or you split it. And then they've also got a payment method column where you can choose, was a transaction done by a debit card, was it done by an EFT, etc. And when we move over, you have a note column. So on the side, this is where I'll say withdrawal made for inter-schools or rugby. So there is sufficient place made on the system for notes as well. And notes is always good because when you have the auditor and you zoom into the transaction, you know exactly what note you've made. And the last column is where the transactions gets approved. And once you've approved the transaction, it has an effect, a direct effect on your budget actual, and your budget actual has a direct effect on your WCED 043 form. So that's from my side on the bank stream. And is there anything additional that you wanted me to mention?
No, it's all good.
All good. The one thing that we've also found that I can maybe mention is you have approved transactions here and then you have excluded. So the new transactions is the live bank stream. Your approved transactions is everything that has been approved. So if you need to find a certain transaction, you can actually go and choose your date. Because if you're still in the current month, like we are now in August, and we find that this payment made here, the first one towards the grade 6 scam, is allocated incorrectly, we can unapprove it and then rematch it. When you come to excluded transactions, when you look at your hard copy bank statement, you find that you have proof of payments or archive statement inquiry, queries that is filtered onto your bank statement, but there's no charges attached because your school's bank account or the type of account is a standard set service fee that you get charged. But they obviously just need to record this on your bank statement. You then exclude these transactions from your live bank stream. So this in brackets will be the charges that will accumulate to get to the set fee, but the actual amount on the bank statement is zero, therefore you would exclude it because you cannot do a recon with all these transactions on there and they are zeroed. So we have to account for it, and how we would do that is to exclude it. So that is it on the bank stream. We will then move over to statements. So school fee statements, what a great initiative and simplified manner of sending out batch statements to the school. It has really saved us so much time in doing this. So obviously you are, or you should have a very stable internet connection, and from there all should be well. So to draw a statement or to do batch or bulk statements for the school, we would then do the following. So under sales, under the quick menu functionality, you would go to sales and then you would go down to statements on your left-hand side. So when you go to statements, basically what comes up now is all statements that has already been generated. But we would like to create a new statement because the parent has just called and maybe we don't have the email address of the mom, we only have the dad's email address, but the mom also like the statement because her employer now wants to settle the fees. We would simply go to create, and it gives you very, very clear input fields. So set statement dates. The parent wants the statement from 1 July to the 31st. Okay, this year is already set up. The child that we want the statement for is in grade 3, and our classes, they are all customized, so we will choose 3LS. So in 3LS, I've also said that I want to send out all statements for balances greater than that amount. I will then ask for the list of the grade 3s to be shown. So I will get the complete list of 3LS. So this is everybody in 3LS, but it is Alexander, Chuck, or Chuck Alexander's mom that needs a statement. So I will simply, on this side, on this block, click the clear all button, because I only want the statement for Chuck Alexander. I will click on him and I will drill right down through the whole class, and I will get to a button that says generate statement. So I say generate statement. Okay, so I've already clicked that now. Just gonna go back up. Just want to click on him, and there I get the statement to be sent. Here's email fields here. So the mailing address will come up. I can simply save and close. And then when I click on email, I have a verification step that's built in to confirm that the email address is correct. It has the school's logo with the address, all the students' details, including the CMS number, family code as well. If I want to add a specific or custom-made email content to reach the parent, that is in the body where I can do that. And when I click on send, they will receive their statement within seconds. So that is sending the statement. That is sending one statement, but obviously if we want to send for the complete class, we would go back to sales, statements, create, same grade show list. Now everything is ticked. I will go down to generate statements. I don't want to regenerate it now, but it will then generate all 35 statements all at once. And the system is very fast because as soon as the one class has sent, you can basically go, or the whole grade has sent, you can proceed to the following grade. So there isn't a waiting period that you have to wait in order to send the following statement. So that is it on statements, Anna. Anything else?
All good, thank you.
All good, thank you. So the next topic of discussion is the budget plan actual. So budget plan actual, where we would find that is under the accounting functionality tab. So when we click into accounting, so I'm sure that everybody has noticed if you're looking for reports, it will always be on the right-hand side. But if you need to process something, it would more than likely be on the left-hand side. So accounting and then reports, because we simply want to know what our budget actual year-to-date is. So when I click on budget actual, you get a fantastic report. You can also go and check what last year's was and the years before. So here you can put in a custom date or you can say last year, but we are now in this year. So the period is from the beginning of Jan up to the end of December. So will give us the current year-to-date figures. So when I say run report, it will say report has been generated and you get all your actual figures. So when you on your budget actual, you will see that you have expenses. So this is all the chart of account entries and accounts that has been set up. So you have an actual column, you have a budget column, you have an over budget column, and then your budget. So in your budget column, for example, if we look at this first expense, it says our handover budget is 1.8 million. What we have actually handed over is 3 million. And then it shows the over budget is 1.1 million. And then it also gives you the percentage that you are over. So obviously, this account specifically, everybody knows that it's tough times and exemptions and handovers has just escalated tremendously because of tough social economic circumstances. There's no way that we can get away from that, so we deal with it as it approaches. So we can see that most of the budgets should be, if you want to get the feel of, yes, we are over the halfway mark of the year, we should be over 50% on most of our budgets. But just to make an example, we can actually just go to, if we, for example, take our first aid budget. So here you have the first aid budget. The budgeted amount is 4,000. What we have spent on first aid is 1,100. What is available of the budget is still 2.8. So if you're under with your expenses, it's always a good thing. But yeah, we manage that as it goes along. So earlier I mentioned that I would go back to the bank stream to actually show you how the school fees, how the amount would change. So when we go to the bank stream and we go back to that transaction of Hazel Ngema, I'll just show you the effect that it has. Okay, so on the 15th, we had that transaction. I'm now going to approve it. Okay, so before I go to the budget actual, I just want to show you that when I go to a Hazel statement now, it's recorded immediately. Okay, so when I go to Hazel statement, this is the document journal, and everything done onto a learner's profile will be on the screen. And just check. Okay, so the payment that I've just approved was dated the 15th of the 8th payment, 2,200, and there we can see the balance was 9490, the 2,200 was paid, and the balance is now 7290. So that is the verification that you can use just to ensure that the learner or the student's account has been updated. So now to go and check the effect on the budget actual. So whenever you've made a change, we have to say run report, refresh it. So now you will see the actual fees is on 18 million, 18,780,000. When I'm going to say run report, it should increase by the 2,200 that has just been allocated. So when we go to our 043, this amount should then also reflect on the 043. Okay, so I've just changed it to semester 2 because semester 1 is January to June, and we are now in August. I'm going to say run report. And let me just do the quarter. Okay, so now the earlier, when I explained on the 043, when you get the red alert and it says check accounts, we can actually go in there because it's telling me there is something that I have to link and that I have to check. I would go into the red block, and then simply all these payments, it's showing me that I have to link them. So I would click on the payment. And then I need to ensure that the 043 entry has been completed. So the reason why it's saying check accounts is that 043 entry field is empty. And if the field is empty, the system will not know where this payment or expense needs to be linked. So when you go on the drop-down menu, you need to select which category it needs to filter to. So I know the purchasing of the educational apparatus inside and outside, that is part of other expenses. So I would click on other expense. I would say save and close. And then it would say that it's changed and it then goes off from my list. So that is the check account portion that I wanted to show. So I just don't want to lose my call because we're on the actual to date and the budget. So your budget actual, your live bank stream, and your 043 all speaks to one another. But you have to say a run report for the program or for the system to update whatever changes you've made. So that is it on the budget actual. Anything else, Anna?
All good. Thank you.
Oh, we're still good there. Okay. So I was just asked also, to give some feedback from my perspective of the RISE system and how it saves time and money as well. And so this is our third year on the RISE system, and I don't know, for many bursars, it would be the first time that you've now seen the electronic 043, but that has really simplified my life as a bursar. Obviously, the system is based on accuracy because we all know GIGO, if you, whatever garbage you put in, you're going to get out. So accuracy and attention to detail when capturing from the live bank stream is very important because that filters through to a whole lot of reports. In terms of the system itself, very user friendly. If we are able to read, we will definitely understand where to go. You cannot break the system. There's nothing that you can't undo or get help, for. But there is such a lot of information available at hand. I even use this homepage when we have our FinCom meetings and I need to present, where we at for expenses, income, unpaid school fees. I can use this business pulse as a accurate measure of presenting the figures to the FinCom. And it's so nice to be able to go to a meeting, not having to take with a lot of documentation. You can simply use the pie sheet, or you can use graphs just to illustrate to the committee members where you're at financially. So the system has really helped in many, many aspects. I will reiterate, saving time, saving money, and also when there is something that you don't understand and you need help with, it's simply an email. And the team will try their utmost to attend to it as soon as possible. But that is it from my side. I'm still very excited to see the extra functionality that has been developed towards the system. And like I say, all the schools, our needs differ, but RISE tries and customer to the school's needs. And we're very happy as I speak. So thank you, Anna.
Okay, thank you so much, Michelle. This was very informative. I hope that I'm just checking if we have some questions. Something that I would like to share with all of you, as you saw now the O43 form report, we will be having an O43 form course on the 6th of September, which will basically enable you to try things out firsthand in the system. And if you are keen to try it out for yourself and see how the system works, you're more than welcome to join us. And that nice surprise that Zakia has mentioned. Okay, you can't hear me. All right, I'm just going to double check if my... Okay, great. You can hear me now. All right. So I would need to repeat it again. So I was saying that we will be having an O43 form course. So how an O43 form works in the RISE system on the 6th of September. And that nice little surprise that Zakia mentioned at the beginning, we are raffling 3 tickets to this course valued at 950 Rand each. So stay with us till the end and we will share with you how you can take part in this raffle. Thank you so much for that. And in conclusion, I wanted to ask Michelle to quickly just share very little, just a few sentences, how you found the O43 form course that you did, I believe now 2 years ago.
That's correct, Anna. Thank you. So, the O43 course I did 2 years ago with a lot of Bursars, and we were all fairly new on the system, but the course was really very, very informative. You never know everything. There's always something to learn. And I think had it not been for that course, I would not have understood the system that well, specifically the financial system pertaining to the O43 and how all the, all the functionality that's available actually speaks to each other. So yeah, that course was very, very informative, and also the upskillment course is as important. Once you are through that course, you attend regular forums, you then do the Bursar upskillment course, where your competence is really tested. I've been through that. Yeah, but it's only for the benefit of yourself and definitely to the benefit of your school and the broader community. Thank you.
All right, that's great to hear. Thank you so much for sharing this. Yes, so the Bursars upskillment program that we've been doing, it's basically once you are using the system and after 3 months, we do a short assessment whereby it's just a question and answer just to see where you're at and whether you have understanding of the main aspects of the system. And then we take it from there. Last year, we had a great upskillment session for our bursars where we've looked at various aspects of the system. And then at the end of that upskillment session, bursars were asked some questions. It's just for basically for themselves to see where they're at. And then that is the criteria, for them to get certified. And there are various levels. And I'm pleased and excited to share that Michelle has been officially certified and she's got her certificate. So it is quite exciting, and it also serves as upskillment and empowerment of bursars, and also to make sure that your knowledge and your understanding, not just of the RISE system, but of the financial system as such, grows and gets better. So that is on the upskillment front. Thank you so much, Michelle, also for sharing on the O43 form course. As I've mentioned, we'll be doing it on the 6th of September. So it's 4 hours and you can basically join from anywhere. We will do it via Google Meet. So it's the same platform as this. In the past, we've done it like this and it has worked very well. And we will be inviting, our existing schools who have recently joined our system or the ones who have been using it for a while, as well as the schools who would like to maybe try it out, for themselves and see how it works. Because as they say, for something to work for you, you need to actually try it out. And so what happens is that we set up individual live systems for each person that will be attending this course so that you're able to work on it independently and also follow the steps that we will be looking at. So what we will do is you will be able to set up your budget in accordance to the WCED cash book. You will also be able to import your chart of accounts from the Excel spreadsheet, as well as create your O43 entries in the system and map them to the accounts. You will also look how allocating your transactions impacts on the 043 form report. So it creates a nice, well-rounded picture for you to understand how the system works, and you will also be able to try it out, in real time in the live info base. So at the end of this session, we will excitedly share with you how you can take part in the raffle of the free tickets that we will be giving away specifically to those schools that are attending today. But now I would like to move on and quickly share with you on the functions and the new developments in the RISE system. So Michelle has shown quite a lot in the system, and I hope that you were able to watch that, but I will just summarize that and also share with you what is currently being created and developed in the system for schools. So as has been mentioned, it's a one-stop system. It has both the financial side to it as well as the admin side. Let's look at the learner data module. So the learner data module is quite comprehensive. You can input a lot of information, generate various reports, and it is compatible with the SIMS. So when I say compatible, so you can take out, your learners in one file from the RISE system and quickly input those learners, into your SIMS and vice versa. So if you need to, for instance, take out your learners from SIMS, you can also input them into RISE. So that's that kind of compatibility I'm talking about. There is also the rollover function that you can make use of. And all right, I see that there is a question. We will basically, we will still be going probably for another at least 20 minutes. We are planning to share this recording. It will just take a bit of time for us to make some, additions and make sure that the recording is of good quality. So you're welcome to possibly watch this recording at a later stage. Otherwise, you can also look at other forums that are available on our YouTube channel if you miss out on this one. And yes, you're welcome to also have maybe one-on-one conversation with Zakia if you would like to. Okay, thank you so much for coming to this forum. I really appreciate it. Okay, so allow me to continue. And so, yes, so as has been mentioned, the learner data module is also integrated with the communicator app, so your parents can see their statement, what they've paid and what they still need to pay. And the learner data module is also integrated with marks and behavior, so that you're able to basically follow through, what is happening with that specific learner on various, fronts of school processes that you need to follow. So the system is also integrated with a debt collector. You are able to use the information from the system to supply to other debt collectors. It doesn't have to be, they don't need to be integrated with us necessarily for you to basically use them. We have other schools that use other debt collectors, so it works quite well. And then also last year, we've integrated with an SMS provider. Some schools requested us, to enable them to send out SMSs, and we are excited and proud to share with you that it is possible. And then also, I would like to share with you that the Communicator app, it's not just for you to communicate with your parents, it's also a school staff app. What does that mean? It means that your educators, admin staff can use it in order to do various things, such as you can create your news post, you can also track attendance, and even fill in your mark sheet on the Communicator app. So as a school, you can set up, specific rights for your educators so that they can learn with their class or classes, depending how many subjects they teach. And then you're just able to log into your app and quickly do, those things. You don't need to log into your laptop, so it is quite convenient. Also, just to share quickly, throughout this last few years, obviously, like you saw in Michelle's presentation, there have been a lot of additions and improvements to various reports, the 043 form report, which is a crucial report for schools. And, when schools share their requirements with us and also share what the department needs from them, we try to listen to that and try to implement it in the system. So we are excited about it, and we hope that, as more schools consider using the system, that we can also develop more exciting and more groundbreaking functionalities that empower schools in their journey. And lastly, what I would like to share with you, we are currently in the process of developing an asset. It's called fixed asset module. We had a number of requests, from schools, and we are excited to say that it is in progress. And if you have specific requirements for your asset register or fixed assets and you would like to share those requirements with us, please do so. Now is the time, because it is in development and we are able to take these requirements into account to make sure that you can basically use it to its full potential in the system. And that's it from me. Thank you so much for your attention, and we'll move over to the next team member. Cynthia is our trainer, so I didn't really share what my role is. So I'm, when schools join us, I'm on the implementation side. I make sure that, our system, I assist with the implementation, making sure that our team assists schools in the best possible way in terms of import, in terms of training. And I also work with our team, in terms of ongoing queries to make sure that the queries are answered, efficiently and basically are a possible way. And I'm also on the development side. So when we have queries, I also liaise with different team members to make sure that those new functions that schools need and new developments, make happen, and that they basically fulfill schools' requirements. So that's me. And now I would like to pass on to my colleague, Cynthia. Cynthia is an accountant. She basically makes sure that our schools get onboarded and successfully trained in the system when they join, but it's also ongoing. When schools have queries, when they need to know something, she's there to assist. She's a qualified accountant. She's even doing now her second degree, becoming a chartered accountant. So it is quite exciting that this help is also available to our schools. And without further ado, I would like to hand over to her. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Anna. Hello, everyone. I'm not sure if everyone can see me and hear me properly.
Yes, we can see you and we can hear you.
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Um, Hello, everyone. As Anna said, thank you, Anna, for pre-presenting me. My name is Cynthia De Pars, and I am a qualified accountant and trainer at Rise. Over the past years, I had the immense pleasure of working closely with schools. I help schools to navigate financial administration and management into the RISE system. I would like to share with you a little bit on my role and passion in empowering schools. And basically, I help schools with onboarding and training in the system. Onboarding is a crucial stage, and I work closely with every school to ensure that your information is fully onboarded onto the system and that you are fully trained. I trained Bursars on all the financial processes and procedures in the system to make sure you can also apply your current processes into the RISE system. I make sure that all your questions and I don't know, questions and any information, additional information is accounted for and are answered, and that you are able to apply what you need in the right system. Once you are fully trained in the system, we celebrate this milestone, and that is an exciting beginning of your journey into the right system. Going forward, I provide you with training and support when you need or have any questions and queries. It ensures you and other schools that you are equipped and empowered on the ongoing basis. When schools join this program, we do guided onboarding. This ensures that schools know how to import and they import the information under my guidance. This also empowers schools to have control and see what has been imported into the system. Once the onboarding stage is over, we move to the training stage. I look forward to working with you. And if you would like to ask any questions, perhaps, I will be more than happy to answer them. Thank you so much for your attention. Handing over to Zakia. Or back to
Thank you, Cynthia. That was marvelous. So, I think that you guys have a good idea of what the system's got, what it entails, and how it can help. There's a lot more, and it's obviously we're not going to sort of cover it in our 1 hour. We're stepping over our boundaries a bit on time, but it's informative, and I think it's going to help you in the long run. So hopefully we can just um, keep it up for another 15 to 20 minutes just to get all the information through. And then obviously that surprise that Anna's got at the end. I'm actually going to ask Anna if she won't take over now and just debrief you guys on that.
Yes, thank you so much, Zakia. I will do that gladly. So as I've mentioned, if you are thinking of possibly attending the upcoming course, like I said, it's called How the O43 Form Report Works in the RISE system. You're welcome to take part in the raffle. So in order to take part in our raffle, we'll be giving away 3 tickets. As I've mentioned, you need to go onto our Facebook page. It's actually our group, RISE School Management. I'm going to share with you a link, so it will take you just a second to go onto that group. And you just need to join that group. And you will see in that group there is a post where it says, win the 3 tickets that we are raffling for schools. You will see there's like a nice pamphlet with the details on the course. So all you need to do is just to comment, I'm in it to win it. And once you comment, we will be accepting comments till Wednesday next week. And till Tuesday next week. And then on Wednesday, we will be announcing the 3 winners. We hope that you will take part. Yes, you're welcome to do that. And yes, if you have any questions about the course, I have already covered what it entails. But perhaps if you have questions, you're more than welcome to ask them. Otherwise, I'm handing over back to Zakia.
Thank you, Anna. So, thank you, Cynthia. Thank you very much, Michelle. That was such a detailed, such a very very vibrant way of showing us the RISE system. And I like especially to see the RISE system from the perspective of someone that's really using it instead of just us, in a sense, we obviously back RISE with all our hearts, but essentially we want RISE to become your favorite tool. So yes, she's very right. No 2 RISE systems are the same. It's something that we tailor make, something that we customize for each school based on their needs. It can be taken apart like it wants to. You can use certain modules and not use certain modules, obviously to just sort of alleviate the stresses or burdens of the financials. I would in closing just chat about what we've been doing at RISE to sort of empower schools with the ongoing load shedding, with the ongoing power cuts. And obviously we've had the coldest winter that I can ever imagine. So it's been a bit crazy. What we've done at RISE is we've looked closely once again. I always punt the message that RISE was born out of a need for educators, bursars, principals, just to have some structure in their lives. And when we looked at the situations with our schools and what they were facing, I think the MEC of Education spoke about it a week ago on our news, and he spoke about how many schools get burgled over the holidays, because there's no backup electricity for those security systems, or you don't have a security system, or the fiber's gone down, or whatever else. So what RISE has done is we have included in any package that you take from RISE, as well as any training package that you take from RISE. We have included the little UPSs. They last for about 4 hours, which is technically what our load shedding is doing at the moment. And they are security safe. In other words, it's not just a normal UPS that you just either plug onto your fiber. You definitely can do that, but they work specifically with your security systems as well. And I noticed when the MEC was speaking that he said it takes so much money to rebuild, those resources, because it's a lot of IT equipment that is normally stolen in these burgles. And when I looked at the cost, and I thought to myself, wow, that's a lot of money. A lot of our schools, I'm sure Michelle will tell you, the moment you get onto the mark system and you start sending out those statements as well as the reports out digitally instead of actually printing it, the saving on paper alone is massive. Being able to put that money back in your back pocket, it's a relief to most principals, most bursars I know. And they speak very highly of it in the sense that they can do more for their children, and that's, I guess, why you're there. So what we've done is, if you'd like to sit down with us, we've got a winter warmer special. We've tied in the UPSs to keep the fiber on, to keep the security on. There's different kinds of methods we can do that. And then we've also now recently just added the little mini gas stoves, which I'm sure you guys have seen, and has done some amazing marketing for us. And a lot of our schools has taken the opportunity to actually use that and make hot meals for the kids. A lot of our kids are coming to school without a meal. They're coming to school not having eaten the night before. And I know that as teachers and educators and management of schools, the kids are close to your heart. So it's amazing to see what they're doing with it, and not just wanting to hold it for their own purposes. So I urge you, get in contact, let us talk, let us find out how we can help you. That's essentially what RISE wants to do. And then obviously, if we can help with any of these aspects, like the UPS or the fiber not being on, because we know some schools, the telephones are even linked to the fiber, and it makes it difficult for you guys to actually get connected. So let us help. We're here to help. Send us an email. My number is over there as well on all the communication. A WhatsApp is good for me as well. I'm very, very sort of permeable that way. And then I think lastly, I'd just like to sort of open up and just ask if there's anyone who had any real questions. I did see a question that I think I would like addressed. It was with regards to the difference between the bank statements and cash book on the 043. So, Anna, would you be able to address that for us?
So we will need to look in a bit more detail. Hanli, is it pertaining to your current query, or is it just a general question that you thought maybe Michelle can answer? Can you maybe specify for us? I don't know if Hanli is still in the call, but we can definitely look at it in more detail with Hanli, maybe outside of this forum. Yeah, I think that would be the best. That would be the best suggestion. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And obviously, any other questions and any other comments? I really hope that it's been extra informative. I hope that you've got a lot of information out of it, not just for the fact of what RISE is and what it can do and all of those things. We want you to ask questions as in what more is there that you need a system to do. Like Anna said, the more that we know about things or systems or processes that you need running from the system, the better we can better the system to assist you. Somebody asked, why is the Western Cape Education Department not making it a standard stipulation? We are in talks with the Western Cape Education Department. A lot of the districts, the auditors, they really do enjoy doing or auditing the information from the RISE system. It's very easy, and they don't need to step onto the grounds of the school. There's no paperwork involved. It's absolutely amazing. And from a school's point of view, you guys are actually very protected. We've really gone beyond with POPIA, whereby they can see the information, they can view it, but they're not able to edit or change anything. Also, they can't make any copies. So there's always that looming risk with papers being shared. So it is on the table. It's definitely on the table. RISE is super amazing. I'm not just being biased, and I'm sure that they'll buy into it. So yes, we are busy with that. I think from there, I'd like to perhaps just invite you guys to definitely take up that 043 training that's coming up. It's definitely not just for schools that are involved already. It's a good way for you to get an understanding of how you're going to use the system, if the system is user friendly for you, if it fits in with what you're doing currently, your processes at schools. And it's a quick way just to check the system out and then make a very informed decision. Furthermore, I'm open for any emails and any meetings. We can do online and on-site, depending where you are in the region. And the team and myself are happy to meet you. So thank you again for coming. Thank you so much for staying. We've gone well over our time, but we're excited to have you. And yes, we hope to get a lot of questions, a lot of emails, phone calls, and WhatsApps as well. Anna, would you like to close?
Yes, no, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Michelle, thank you again. It was really, really informative and interesting to hear your perspective. And I hope everyone has a good day. And yes, do keep in touch, and we would love to hear from you.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much for joining. We know the time is obviously of the essence, but we look forward to hearing from everyone, like Anna said.